Hello everyone, my name is Chavan Snehal. I have completed my bachelor's degree in biotechnology and currently am pursuing the diploma in advancement in life science at Bridgestone Institute, Pune. Let us discuss our today's topic. The today's topic is endocrine system. What is endocrine system? It is one of the systems of human body in which there are the presence of ductless glands. That is the glands which are without duct. Duct is a tube-like structure. Okay. Now these ductless glands they release hormones directly in the bloodstream and control all the activities of the body. Now let's start with hypothalamus. Hypothalamus it is present in our brain and it gives signal to the pituitary gland for the release of hormones. It gives instructions that when to start the release and when to stop. This pituitary gland it releases other hormones which acts on the other organs of the body. Now this pituitary gland it activates and stimulates the release of hormones. Hence it is known as the master gland of the endocrine system because it gives instructions to all the other organs. Okay. Now the pituitary gland it is divided into two parts. The first part it is anterior pituitary gland and second is posterior pituitary gland. Anterior pituitary gland it secretes 7 hormones. They are first is melanocyte stimulating hormone which acts on skin. Second is follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone which acts on ovaries. Third is the prolactin. It acts on mammary glands. Similarly, there are other hormones. Then the posterior pituitary gland, it secretes the oxytocin which acts on mammary glands. Then second oxytocin which acts on uterus. And the third hormone it is the ADH which acts on kidneys. Okay. Now let's now discuss the thymus. Thymus it is the endocrine gland which is situated in the lungs. Okay, in between the lungs. Now this thymus it releases the hormone which is known as thymosin. This thymosin hormone it stimulates the T cell progenitor. Now what are T cells? They are the cells of immune systems which protect us from the foreign invaders. So for the formation of these T cells, the T cell progenitor is formed when the thymosin hormone is released. And who will give the signal? The signal will be given by the pituitary gland. Okay. Now second let's discuss the thyroid hormone. Thyroid it is a gland which is present in our throat. Okay. This thyroid it releases the hormone T3 and T4 and also the calcitonin. Okay. Now when this thyroid will release these hormones, when the pituitary gland it will release the thyroid stimulating hormone which will stimulate the production of T3 and T4. Okay. These thyroid hormone, these hormones they what they do? They control our metabolic activities. When the secretions of T3 and T4 is increased, okay, that is more than normal, then what will happen? The metabolic activities will take place at more amount. Due to this, there is the weight loss and this condition is known as hyperthyroidism. Why hyper? Because the hormones are released in more amount. Similarly, there is a condition called as hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is what? In hypothyroidism, the T3 and T4 hormones they are released in very less amount. Due to this, the metabolic activities do not take place properly and the cells are not carry out the metabolic processes and thus there is the weight gain. Okay. So these are some of the disorders which are related to our thyroid gland. Okay. Then similar to thyroid, there is parathyroid gland. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, calcitonin is also one of the hormone which is released by thyroid gland. Now what is function of thyroid calcitonin hormone? This calcitonin hormone it is released when the calcium level in the blood is increased. Okay. Now see which are the organs associated with calcium. The first is our bone. Why? Because in the bone the calcium is deposited. Second is kidney. This kidney it is responsible for excretion of the calcium. And small intestine. What does small intestine do? When we consume our food, this small intestine it absorbs the calcium in our food. So when the calcium level in the blood will increase, calcitonin hormone will be secreted and this calcitonin hormone will give signal to kidney. What signal it will give? To excrete the calcium, because the calcium level is increased. Okay. Second, it will give signal to small intestine that not to absorb calcium, because we are already having ample amount of calcium in our blood. And third, it will give signal to the bones to deposit the calcium. Okay, so what will happen? The calcium level will be maintained. This is the calcitonin hormone's function. Now, opposite to this hormone, there is parathyroid hormone. What does parathyroid hormone do? When the calcium level is decreased, it will give signal to bones, kidney and small intestine in such a way that the calcium level will increase. Okay, that is key. It will tell small intestine to absorb more calcium, kidney not to excrete the calcium, and small intestine to absorb more calcium. Okay, and bones to release the deposited calcium. Okay, so in this way the calcium level will be maintained. Okay, now coming to one more gland, it is pineal gland. Pineal gland, it is the gland which is present in our brain at the back of the diencephalon region. This pineal gland, it is a button shaped gland. It is very small gland and it controls our body activities. Okay, it controls our sleeping patterns. These sleeping patterns are controlled by the hormone melatonin. Okay, this melatonin hormone, it will be released in the dark conditions. In dark conditions, what will happen? Ki melatonin will be released and will fall asleep. Okay. Then in the morning, when light comes and hits our radiations, there are photoreceptors in our eyes. We will capture this light, and due to this the melatonin secretion will be decreased. Okay, so the pituitary gland, it will give signal to the pineal gland that now decrease the secretions of melatonin hormone. Okay. Now further, there is adrenal gland. Adrenal gland, it is present on the top of kidneys. Okay, adrenal gland, it is divided into two parts. Okay, for the outer part it is known as adrenal cortex, and the middle part it is known as adrenal medulla. Okay, this adrenal cortex, it will release the cortisol hormone, aldosterone, estrogen. Okay, and the adrenal medulla, it will release epinephrine and norepinephrine hormones. Now what are the functions of these hormones? See, the estrogen, it is hormone which is responsible for regulation of the menstrual cycle, then bone health in females, then whatever health related issues to females. Okay, these are controlled by estrogen hormone. Then there are hormones like various like epinephrine and norepinephrine released by the medulla. Okay, so these hormones are related in the stress conditions. Okay, they also play important role in the fight and flight mechanism. Okay, now after adrenal gland, let us take the pancreas. Now what pancreas do? See, pancreas, we all know they are associated with digestive system as well as in the endocrine system. Okay, in the digestive system they function as exocrine glands, and in our endocrine system they function as our endocrine glands. Okay, now how? See, pancreas, it is composed of alpha cells, beta cells and delta cells. Okay, now alpha cells, these alpha cells, they secrete glucagon, and beta cells secrete insulin. Okay, now this insulin and glucagon, these are the hormones which are related to the maintenance of blood sugar level. When the blood sugar level increases, insulin is secreted, and when it is decreased, glycogen is secreted. Okay, now this glycogen, what it does, it goes and acts on liver. Why on liver? Because in liver there is a glycogen is storage form of carbohydrates, and glucagon, which is the hormone, it will act on glycogen and it will stimulate the breakdown of glycogen into the glucose molecules, that is in our sugar. Then what will happen? Ultimately the sugar level will be maintained. Okay, now this is the endocrine function of pancreas, and exocrine, it is in the release of pancreatic juice in the process of digestion. Okay, then coming to the disorders of endocrine system. Now what could be the reasons for the disorders in endocrine system? See, first reason, it can be due to the excess secretion of hormones. Okay, second can be due to low secretion of hormones, that is hyper and hypo conditions. As I stated in the earlier conditions, there are hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism. So this can be conditions when the hormone secretions is imbalanced. Second, it may happen that the hormones are secreted but they are not acting on the organs, that is there can be defect in the organs receptors. Okay, So this can be one more reason for the disorders of endocrine system. Then again there are tumors, that is cancers. Okay, benign and malignant tumors. Like these tumors, what happens ki benign, we know ki it is the tumor in which it is not so harmful. Why? Because it does not spread throughout the body, whereas malignant, it spreads throughout the body, right? So that is more harmful, and these tumors, these are the disorders which are related to our endocrine system. Okay, now then see, the endocrine system, it plays major role in our body. Why? Because its function is in the metabolic processes. Also there are various sex hormones are there. Okay, and then in digestion, gut hormones are there. See, gut hormones are like ghrelin, which is associated with hunger. Then one more is the secretin, which is associated in the secretion of gastric juices. So the endocrine system is responsible in digestion also, in controlling the metabolic process also, in maintaining the blood sugar level, in the sexual reproduction. So ultimately in all the activities of the body, our endocrine system plays the major role. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. Thank you.